to listen to the Lapped Traffic Podcast.
What is up, Lap Traffic Nation? Welcome to episode 198 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. I am your host, the Professor Brandon Crowd, and we are just 2 weeks away from episode 200. But got a huge show for you guys tonight, of course. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Pretty low-key weekend over here. Friday, had some friends over. Saturday, went and played some golf, which, let me tell you, my golf game has improved drastically over the last couple years, which is awesome. I can actually hit my driver reasonably straight, which it's amazing when you don't try to kill the ball, how that can just improve the distance and, you know, the straightness of it. Iron game is pretty solid. Even though I haven't, as I've gotten older, the strength has declined a little bit. You know, 150 out used to be a very easy 9-iron for me. Now it's an 8, but hey, it's fine. I can still put it on the green. Chipping's pretty good. It's just the short game, right, that I struggle with. But shot a 94 on Saturday, which I will take that all day. You know, it's not like I was playing some PGA championship course or anything like that, but I'll take 94 all day on a golf course. Saturday night, had a little party for Zaylen's birthday, which was awesome, and Sunday, kicked back, relaxed, watched the truck race. It was pretty cool. I'll take this weekend. If you missed last week's show with Miles from You Betcha, go check that out. Had a great time with Miles. PETM joined later in the show as well with Dan, the new Lap Traffic intern. Yes, got a new intern. Very excited about some things that are going to be happening with Dan, including this week a Instagram takeover from Darlington, because he is going to be going to Darlington, which is pretty cool. More on that during the social media segment, so stay tuned for that. Go make sure you stream 92.9 The Ticket. I was on there yesterday morning talking with Wayne and the guys. You can go stream the full segment on their website, 929theticket.com. So, I mean, if you want Lap Traffic, you can find Lap Traffic, because last week, Thursday night, I was on the PETM podcast, so I'm making my rounds. That's for sure. And I promise, last week's show just kind of all came together not last minute, but made the announcement with Dan. PETM, I had Sherwin on because they weren't able to go last week and wanted to get them out there a little bit, so had them on the show on Tuesday night. So that turned into what was not expecting to be an hour and 58-minute show that turned into an hour and 58-minute show. I promise you guys that will not be the case tonight. Should be a little bit more manageable tonight. And, yeah, I'm pretty excited about things because tonight Tyler Riddick is going to be back on the show. We'll talk some trucks from WWT, not WWE, as I like to say. Recap from Daytona for Xfinity and Cup. Social media shout-outs. Neudorf's got the weather. Lucky Dog lap down. And we'll close it out with some Lap Traffic Fantasy and find out who made the coveted Lap Traffic Fantasy grid. We'll see all that a little bit later on. But right now, let's kick things off with Tyler Riddick. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, making his 8th appearance on the Lap Traffic Podcast. He is the driver of the number 8 with RCR. He has 7 top 10s through 26 races in his rookie season in the Cup Series. He's the current points leader for Rookie of the Year. Welcome back to the show, Tyler Riddick. Tyler, what's up, man? How are you?
Oh, not much. Just, just getting ready for, the first race back since the cutoff and just trying to, do everything I can to go into that race and maximize the event to the best of my potential.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that for a minute, and then we can talk about some fun stuff. I'm sure you and the team are bummed. You guys just missed out on the playoffs, but, a lot of positives to take out of the 2020 season, I think, for you guys. You were out there. You've led some races. You've done well at plate races as of late, which is awesome. But that's no surprise because you've won at both Daytona and Talladega in the Xfinity series. Where are you guys at mentally as a team over these last 10 races here?
Well, just trying to still go out and execute these events the best of our ability. But even more than that, continue to learn about what we need to do better as a team. So when we get back next season, we have a good game plan rolling into the year and can further improve next year when we get going. So a lot of races left, a lot of opportunities to still win, but it's all about just taking as much knowledge that we can from these events and apply it to the future. So when we have another opportunity next year to go after a championship, we don't fall short like we did this year.
Sure. No, I'm with you there. Let's talk about Saturday night. Daytona ending the regular season. A lot of fans are vocal on whether or not they don't like that. What's Tyler Reddick like? Does Tyler Reddick like the fact that Daytona ends the regular season, a big wild card type race like that?
Absolutely. I think it's perfect. I think you saw how it can be a lot to manage when it doesn't go your way, as the way our race kind of ended, causing that big wreck. So you're not going to have those moments at a place like Indy where it's been decided in the past. With it being where it is, people are going to make those moves that they really shouldn't. Sure. in a plate racetrack, because they have the opportunity to do that. So I think it creates some very intense, very exciting, just nail-biting finishes. And I think Daytona is perfect for that last race, because you truly have 30, maybe not quite 30, but you have 20 drivers that really have nothing to lose by being aggressive on a plate racetrack. So I think it's perfect.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's definitely grown on me over the last couple of weeks leading up to it, knowing where we were at from a points perspective in terms of, all right, you've got guys that are within the top 16 that are fighting for points and positions, because we know that there's guys that are outside the top 16 that are going to be taking spots. It definitely grew on me as the build and the lead up to Daytona got there. That is for sure. Tyler, when we talk about our current powerhouse teams in Cup, I think obviously the first two that come to mind are SHR, Joe Gibbs Racing. RCR obviously wants a dominant powerhouse. This year, Austin picks up a win, gets into the playoffs. You're currently leading for Rookie of the Year. Definitely some positive trends for RCR. What can 2020 do to help RCR to get back up into that conversation of powerhouse with the likes of SHR and Joe Gibbs Racing?
Well, I think it's kind of what I just mentioned a little earlier. It's about continuing to improve on the areas where we have weaknesses. So it's not one little piece that's going to be the end-all answer.
Sure.
To this. It's just going to be a continuation of the process, going through the motions, and just not leaving anything on the table as, well, this is good enough. Just continue to work on those things. And for us, yes, we do. We did have more points than Cole before the playoffs. Obviously, with the playoff reset, he jumps up to 2,000 points and pretty much clinches, does clinch the Rookie of the Year. So that's the playoff format we've come to learn and love and hate at times. But sure. I've won plenty of championships. Not plenty. I guess you can always win more championships, but winning 2 championships in the Rookie year to this system is it's kind of fair and fitting that I would lose a Rookie of the Year battle to the same format.
Yeah, when you said that, I forgot all about that because of that win there that gave him that. So I apologize about that. That's totally
no, it's okay.
Once racing got back going in May, NASCAR has made and continues to make changes, from the doubles to no practices and qualifying to the most recent addition of the choose lane. What of those things have you liked? What have you not liked? Is there anything you'd like to see taken a step further or anything like that next year?
I think I don't know. I don't have the answer for that. But what I do like is how we've continued to take these steps at a rather aggressive rate this year. I think it could really set the tone for what the future of our sport means and how it can continue to shape as we continue to adapt to new things. So we were faced with a lot of adversity this year. I'm sure we will continue to have it. This virus hasn't gone away yet,
right?
So we will continue to fight it. So I think it's great. I love how we've really opened our minds up to these new things would have never even been on the table in the past.
Absolutely. Yeah. NASCAR really, it was in the, unique position of not really being able to or have to catch flack because of, like you said, it was such a unique position. Let's throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we went back racing in May at Darlington. We're going back to Darlington this weekend. It's the official throwback weekend this weekend. You've got an awesome throwback paint scheme on your car. Jeff Burton, his 94 Rookie of the Year. Man, how cool is that for you?
It's huge honor. I'm excited to be all decked out in all of this the Sparko fire suit and my Rye helmet that looks just like the gear that he wore in the car that looks just like the one he drove. So very cool. Always love the throwback weekend. I love just the entirety of it to all the little things like the hats and the team shirts that we'll wear to just the whole complete piece of it. So always enjoy the weekend. It's always fun to be able to mix it up and do something like this. And more than that, it's just really cool to see a full field of cars or a majority filled field with a lot of throwback cars from all the different eras of our sport.
Absolutely. So obviously as a driver, the one thing I know you want to collect are trophies. But from a fan perspective, obviously throwback weekend's big. From a die-cast collector perspective, you guys have a lot of different paint schemes throughout the year. Is this like one that you might actually, put out that die-cast out there or anything like that? Or do you as a driver not get into the die-cast and all that kind of stuff?
Oh, I love die casts, but I've been fortunate. The guy that gets to drive it gets some samples at the end of the run, so that's always been nice. It's always seemed to find a way to get one or two, so that's been good. Awesome. I actually just got some from last year, about a month or two ago from RCR, so it might take a little bit longer than everybody else, but I still get them at the end of the day, so that's all that matters. Very
cool. Tyler, I'm sure the goal here the last 10 races is to build on the notebook, go out there and try to steal one from these guys that did make the playoffs. We're headed to some tracks that you've had a lot of success at in the Xfinity series, like Charlotte, Bristol, Vegas. Is there any track in particular over these last 10 races that you have circled on that calendar?
It's honestly Darlington for me. That's one of the big ones. Kansas coming up in a little while will be another one. I think Texas, we were very close, but that's going to be a race where we've kind of showed our hands a little bit. So I think it's going to be very difficult to pull out that very similar strategy yet again. So I'm just really looking forward to Darlington. Honestly, it's one coming up here that we ran really good at in the past. So for me, it's this weekend, and what furthers that is what we just talked about, the throwback cars and some of the nostalgia that gets brought back to the racetrack. So the nice thing is that's the next one on the schedule, so I don't have to wait for it.
Absolutely. I love it. Tyler, I'll wrap it up with this. You've been on the show 8 times. These next couple weeks are the build to episode 200. Tonight's episode 198. Man, I want to thank you so much for the support, from taking time out of your day, whether it was at MIS, to come on in and do an in-person interview, or during the week like this to call into the show over the last few years. It means the world to me that guys like you, especially when the show was new, took some time to come on an amateur podcast, man, and I really appreciate the support, and you got no idea how much it means to me, man.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, and we're getting step by step closer to 200, so thanks for letting me be a part of that.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much. Tell everyone where they can follow you at on social media.
Well, the nice thing is social media is I didn't have to do Tyler Reddick 1, 2, or 3, so it's just quite simply my name. So pretty easy to find me on all the platforms that way.
I love it. Lap Traffic Nation, huge thanks to Tyler Reddick, driver the number 8 with RCR, for calling into the show tonight. Tyler, good luck the rest of the season. Stay safe, stay healthy, and look forward to hopefully being able to see you in person sometime next year, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take care. Well, Lap Traffic Nation, great to catch up with Tyler. And, man, if I don't feel like an idiot for thinking he was still in the running for the Rookie of the Year, I did not realize that because Cole made it into the playoffs and he didn't, that automatically solidified that Cole Custer gets Rookie of the Year. Man, my bad there for sure. But, I mean, still just an unbelievable year for Tyler Reddick for 2020, and very excited to see what he's able to do the rest of the year and next year as well, for sure. All right, let's keep things rolling. Let's talk a little racing from this past weekend. We'll start backwards because trucks ran on Sunday, but we'll talk about them first. You know, we went last week from a 5 o'clock start on Friday to a Sunday noon start, and trucks, Sunday afternoon. Give me more, please. I told you guys last week when I made my fantasy picks that I had a hunch with Todd Gilliland at Gateway, and I was looking like a genius as he won both stages, was leading well into stage 3 when he got some contact from eventual race winner Sheldon Creed, which, hey, you know, that's just racing in my opinion. And unfortunately for Todd, he was not able to recover, finished a couple laps down. But I think had that not happened, we might have had a different outcome. But again, we can if and what things till we're blue in the face. And the outcome is that Sheldon Creed is the race winner. You know, as expected for most of the guys out there, Moffitt and Hill finished 2-3. Surprised neither led any laps, to be honest. It was Gilliland, Smith, Mayer, and Creed who were able to hold on and lead most of the laps, with Creed holding on for the last 15 there. I think the talk of the day had to be Johnny Sauter for me. Just the continued struggle for Sauter. Fell 2 more spots in the standings with just 2 races to go in the truck regular season. Sauter is in a must-win spot as far as I'm concerned. I don't see him making up 99 points over these next 2 races. Mathematically, is it possible? Maybe. Is it realistically possible? I don't think so. And at this point, I won't be shy in saying that Sauter just probably is not going to make the playoffs, which is unfortunate because a name like Johnny Sauter is synonymous with the truck series, just like Crafton. You know, when he went winless for so long, it just doesn't feel right saying those types of things. So I think the same can be said about Sauter. It just doesn't feel right saying that Johnny Sauter is sitting 15th in the truck standings and on the verge of missing the playoffs. That said, though, we do have a tiny bubble in the truck series. Tyler Ankrum in 9th with 413. Todd Gilliland in 10th with 411. And Derek Kraus in 11th with 398. Tanner Gray in 12th, 69 points off the cut line. I don't think he has much of a chance, but that's not to say Kraus couldn't go pick up 13 points. So do I see anyone winning their way into the playoffs and stealing a spot from someone already in? I don't know, maybe Friesen. The trucks, you know, they're running their next 2 races at tracks they've not run in a while. Darlington and Richmond. That might level the playing field a little bit. So maybe that could be where Sauter maybe could steal a win. Or Friesen. I think that definitely is a wild card factor that I'm excited to see how that plays out. That said, next race, Sunday, 2 p.m., back-to-back Sunday afternoons for the truck race, along with the doubleheader this weekend as we get the trucks at 2, followed by the throwback Southern 500 Sunday evening, which I absolutely love Sunday night racing when we got Monday off. Absolutely. 2 more truck races to go, like I said, Darlington and Richmond. And then we got the 7-race shootout for the truck championship. All right. Let's move over. Let's talk a little Xfinity racing at Daytona. And, man, I got to tell you, what a finish we got with this one, eh? Again, my pick was looking pretty good until the end. I had Chastain, as did a bunch of you guys. Was looking good until AJ and Chastain had their battle for the lead, which allowed Haley to pick up the win. Another solid day for Kaulig Racing, even though a couple cars got torn up there at the end. Could have really been a solid day for them. Had a 1-2-3 finish, perhaps. Instead, it was a 1-6-15 finish. But Justin and Kaulig Racing bringing home some hardware for sure. Justin Haley, how it's unique now with wins at Daytona in both the Cup and Xfinity Series. Granted, I know some will put an asterisk next to that range-shortened Cup win that he had a couple years ago, though. Couple guys taking advantage of plate racing, keeping it clean, taking advantage of the misfortunes of others, like Ray Goulding finishing 2nd, Michael Annett with a top 10, Josh Williams, Jesse Little, both with top 10s as well. And, well, there is no point in rehashing the playoff standings in the Xfinity Series. You know where we're at there. There is just 4 more races to go in the Xfinity Series. We've got Darlington, a twofer, a double at Richmond, and then the Xfinity Series will wrap things up at Bristol. All right. keep things going. Let's talk a little Cup. The big show Saturday night at Daytona to end the regular season. Most important, in my opinion, was the fans in the stands, including the voice of the Wave Around Hotline, Mr. Andrew Cancian, who was there. William Byron started the night 14th in points and on the bubble, as he would have been one of the guys knocked out by Custer or Dillon when the night started. But Byron accepted that challenge, said, I don't want to have to worry about points, goes out there, picks up his first career win at Daytona to end the regular season and stamp his ticket for the 2020 NASCAR playoffs. Anytime a driver gets that first win, it's special, especially when the expectations are high for that driver. That first win for Bowman, first win for Elliott, Custer, now Byron can be added. That makes that race extra special because you witness history. I think we all will have a few special moments down the road when guys like Matty D, Christopher Bell, Tyler Riddick get their first win. Those will be special races as well. That said, you take a plate race where we know it can and will become a bleep show, add the last race of the regular season, add the playoff bubble, the fact it was Jimmy's last chance to make a shot at the playoffs, throw a first-time winner into the equation. Saturday night was packed full of entertainment, and we haven't even mentioned how Kyle Busch was leading and looked like he could have picked up his first win of the season. Then it looked like Tyler Reddick was about to take charge. Denny Hamlin was closing the door. Bubba Wallace was up there, who ended up finishing fifth. It was your typical ending to a Daytona race. Add all those extra facets to it. I enjoyed myself watching that thing Saturday night. In the end, Byron still would have been all right, still would have made the playoffs as he would have finished 13th in the points. But now he goes from 13th with no wins to 9th with a handful of bonus points and some crazy momentum. So let's run this down here. Harvick, regular season champ with 57 playoff points. That is going to carry him deep into the playoffs, along with Denny Hamlin, who's got 47 playoff points. Should not be a problem for those two getting to the round of 8, where things maybe could pick up a little bit there. Then the drop-off begins with teammates Keselowski and Logano, 29, 22 points. Again, very safe through the first round or two there. Chase Elliott right behind them in 5th. Martin Truex in 6th with 14 playoff points, followed by Blaney, Bowman, Byron, Dillon, Custer, Almirola. All those guys, handful between 5 and 9 playoff points. Boyer with 4. Kyle Busch in 14th with 3 playoff points. It's just crazy when you think of how many he had last year. He had 45 points at this point last year, and he's got 3. You also got to think about Martin Truex Jr. only has 14. A couple years ago, when he started the playoffs, he had 53 playoff points. Kevin Harvick actually has more points than what Martin Truex Jr. had, which was a pretty substantial number back then. So it's just crazy to see that Kyle Busch only's got 3. That's just nuts. And then if I had told you in February that Austin Dillon would have more playoff points than Kyle Busch to start the playoffs, you would have rightfully laughed in my face. But that is definitely the reality and where we're at right now. Big question. Who plays spoiler? Who's that surprise factor? Can somebody, other than the bottom 4 as they currently are stacked up, Clint Boyer, Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, Matt DiBenedetto. That's our bottom 4. I don't think it's safe to say that it's guaranteed that those 4 aren't going to make it to the next round. I think Kyle Busch is going to get to the next round. And when you look at the fact that the point differential isn't that far. When you look at Matt DiBenedetto, 16th, 2,000 points. You can go all the way up almost to Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, 22, 29 points back. It's not too safe from that regard. Like I said, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, obviously through to the next round. But Alex Bowman, 2009 points in 8th, isn't necessarily safe from Kyle Busch in, 14th with 2003. So I definitely think the first round is going to be a little bit more interesting than we thought, just because the playoff points are kind of close throughout the, 3rd through 16th almost. So that said, I bring the question to you guys: who does not make it to the next round? Mick at GoDucks42_Mick feels Custer, Dillon, Byron, and Bowman are going to be out. Ken at K_Colts says Custer, Dillon, Boyer, Bowman. Jess at Iowa NASCAR fan. Austin Dillon, Matty D, Bowman, and Custer. There's always one surprise, and the 88 hasn't been doing well. Scott at 1985 Wagner feels it's going to be Byron, Dillon, Matty D, and Custer out. Andrew at Racing Cants goes Dillon, Custer, Matty D, and Boyer. This year's playoff bunch is so top-heavy, I'd say 10 can easily not make it to the round of 12. And only 6 could realistically make it to the round of 4. Eddie at Eddie_EG3 says it's going to be Dillon, Custer, Bowman, and Almirola out. Brad at Bradley Carnes says Dillon, Custer, Kurt, and Byron. Alyssa at Spencer_Alyssa does not see Custer making it far. He needs more experience. Maybe next year he'll make it to the next round. Jared at Jared Reactor 19. Dillon and Custer are givens, assuming they don't have another surprise win. Matt D has struggled lately, and if it wasn't for JJ Reckon, he may not have made it in. Boyer's best tracks include Bristol, Richmond, but Darlington is his worst. He will be the surprise out. Man, those are all pretty good. A lot of guys, people lining up there. I say it's going to be Custer, Dillon, Boyer, and Kurt Busch out. So we'll see how accurate we all are. Feel free to at me in a couple weeks to let me know if you got it right. All right. That's going to do it for this week's Race Talk. Let's do a little lap traffic social media. All right, everybody, make sure you check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com. Like on Facebook, The Lap Traffic Podcast. Instagram, at Lap Traffic PC. And, of course, Twitter, at Lap Traffic PC. Listen to the show on iTunes, Podbean. All you got to do is search Lap Traffic Podcast or just search NASCAR Podcast, and you will find the Lap Traffic Podcast. So I was so excited last week, finally gave away the 4,500 follower giveaway, and I'd been waiting to do that because I wanted to be able to do some giveaways leading up to episode 200. Of course, got the 5,000 follower giveaway, the rear quarter panel there, but I wanted to give away a free t-shirt, some stickers and koozies to just one lucky follower just because, and wanted to do something different. So what I had you guys do was retweet, tag a friend, and screenshot that you're subscribed to the Lap Traffic Podcast. And I was going to pick one winner from those. I wrote down everybody's names that did that on some sticky notes, and as you saw, I posted that, flipped through there, picked a random follower, and the winner of the random prize pack, which includes a Lap Traffic shirt, koozies, and all that, is Justin Hughes at JHughesU0113. Justin is a big wrestling and NASCAR fan, so I can totally relate to that. So, Justin, congrats. I'll get that out to you probably tomorrow, as long as you get me your address there, and congratulations there. Some shout-outs to some new followers. Pub Table Racers from Mooresville, a new NASCAR podcast. Welcome to the amateur podcasting community, guys. You can follow them at Racers Pub, which is very cool. And Sports Talk Garage at Sports Garage Pod, a all-around general sports podcast from Charlotte, North Carolina. Great area. I actually talked with those guys the other day, which is very cool. So go check out those two new podcasts that are out there. Actually, Sports Talk Garage has been around a minute, but they're new to following the Lap Traffic Podcast. Got your t-shirts and shirts, hoodies, all that good stuff on the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com. I got stickers and koozies. If you want one for free, all you have to do is visit the website, fill out the contact page, and I will send one out to you. And I mentioned it at the start of the show. Make sure you're following the Lap Traffic Podcast on Instagram at Lap Traffic PC, as new Lap Traffic intern Dan Ryan is going to be doing a bunch of posts, live stuff on the stories and all that good stuff this weekend, as he is taking the Lap Traffic virtually to Darlington, as he will be there in person, which is very cool. So if you're there, he'll have a Lap Traffic shirt on, and he's going to have some stickers and koozies to hand out to people that he sees there. So if you want to get one real quick and you're going to Darlington, go look for Dan, and he'll give you one. So just look for the Lap Traffic logo there on Dan's shirt, and I'm sure he will hook you up. All right, that is going to do it for this week's social media segment, let's get to some weather. Let's get Mr. Brian Newdorf on the line. All right, Lap Traffic Nation joining me on the line. You can follow him on Twitter at NASCAR_WXMAN, along with Aaron Studwell, keeping us up to date on the weather happenings for the next 10 more weekends. Yes, we're going to be done in 10 weekends. I'm actually sad now that I just said that out loud. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Brian Newdorf. Sir, good evening. How are you?
At that race, we could have 30 races between the next 10 weekends. I mean, we could go back to the old schedule.
That's true. We could run a few doubles and triples. We could fit a whole nother season in over the next 10 weeks.
I'm for it. Sure. Why not? Let's just start. Let's start next season already. Let's go for it.
Yeah. So what's going on, man? How are you? How's your weekend?
It was good.
Anything fun and exciting?
Nope.
No,
that's why it's good.
I say, that's never a bad time. That's not necessarily bad. So the last time you were on, you were giving us the weather for the 500, and I knew that you were very excited about that. It's your home race, home track. It's why you got into racing in general. What did you think of the 500? Did you get to take it in and at least enjoy your Sunday afternoon?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everything that day revolves around the 500, in my opinion. So, yeah, Stephen Church. It's like, okay, well, we just watch it online. That way we're already home. And, I still saw service. But, yeah, you get ready for the 500. Yep. And it wasn't a bad day. Weather was good. And I had all the stuff. I mean, it was building up. It was looking like a good finish. Everything was there. And then the one downside – and I mean, pure Indy people would probably say, well, that's how it's supposed to go. I mean, and that was a bad wreck at the end, but they ended under caution. As a NASCAR fan, you're just a little spoiled.
Well, I guess, if you could pick and choose from the multitude of racing series that are out there, from short track dirt racing up to NASCAR to Indy and the European series and all that kind of stuff, if you could cherry pick the rules, we could all come up with what we would think would be our perfect racing format. Is that something that you personally would like to see change in Indy, or, is it just, do you like the tradition aspect? It took NASCAR a while to do that. I like the fact I want to see that. I mean, because that race has given us such amazing finishes over the last several years. And so to see this one end under yellow, I mean, it's like this, you're just, the downside is maybe expectations are too high. And I mean, I didn't feel like I missed much because there were no fans there. I mean, the pageantry at the beginning, Memorial Day, setting up the double, that's hard to beat. Yeah. All right. I mean, the 21 gun salute during the intro felt a little out of place in, August. You're right. No, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
So, I mean, they had the performances and stuff like that. But again, and even the driver said that. But I that would be one of the rules that I think I would have liked to see. And I think they did at one point try the double file or something. But I mean, the IndyCar, for at least for the 500, let that bad boy in under green somehow, some way. But their argument was there wasn't enough laps to get, and they're not going to do overtime. And I guess, somebody's argument was for IndyCar, whatever gas they have, that's the gas they have. Whereas NASCARs can go and get gas. Their people in their pits can go and get gas and come back and have that fuel and stuff like that. Whereas Indy, I don't know how true that is, but that's what somebody tried to tell me was one of the reasons, because they said if it went into overtime or they had the overtime rule like NASCAR does, they would be hurting for fuel. So
I did not.
But I don't know if that's
realize
true.
That if that's I'm not going to pretend to know one way or another. That would be an interesting facet.
So if you listen, I want to know if you are following both of us and you're listening to the podcast. When you hear this, send us a tweet if you know the answer. Heck, if you don't know, just say, I don't know, right? And send that to us anyway, all right?
Yes.
Maybe the next time we'll pick from the people who said, I don't know, or gave an answer from the next giveaway.
Absolutely. Yes.
I have something. I've got something. Speaking of the 500, or at least the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, I figured at this point, it's not on display. You would think it would. I think it's like the first 5 winner. It's like the small little 1x16 die-cast Hot Wheels type size cars of like the first 5 winners of the Brickyard.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I found that someplace and bought it, and it's just been kind of traveling with me the last couple of years.
That's pretty cool.
So I might give that away. I don't know yet.
Yeah. Well, hell, let's do a little joint giveaway. And speaking of giveaways, it's the lead up to episode 200, of which you and Brian, you don't know this yet, but you and Aaron are going to be a part of episode 200. I'm going to have you.
Well,
both
I'll
on
look forward.
night.
I'm looking forward to listening to Aaron.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You both are going to.
But I hear Brian's kind of busy. And he's kind of a dick when he's on these things. So can I say that on the podcast?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't really swear. That's my television. You got to, as the Cincinnati Reds broadcaster pointed out, you have to assume that every microphone is hot.
Yes.
So
yeah, well, we're hot. We just don't have FCC regulations to follow by, so we're good.
Well, there's just common decency. That wasn't about FCC. That's just common decency.
Yeah, no, I mean,
that's called being a good human being.
It's not like I purposely go on, F-bomb tirades, but if something slips here or there, it's all good in the hood.
I don't think I've ever cussed on this thing.
I don't think you have either. Yes, no, it's all good. But yeah, no, I got a couple giveaways going on up until episode 200, just to kind of hype things up a little bit, because 200 episodes from a podcast perspective at an amateur level, that's either showing that you have a lot of dedication or just way too much free time on your hands. And I'm going to add option C, which is a very understanding wife.
That's C through Z.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
And you know what? The best part is you and I were thinking the exact same thing.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's funny because like the last couple weeks, it's turned into, it's still kind of COVID, right? Like, you're still technically not supposed to be doing things above and beyond, but Lindsay and I we're getting ready to go on vacation towards the end of the week, and we really didn't do much grocery shopping this week. So I'm just like, screw it, let's just go out to dinner. I go, but I got to be home by 7:30, and it was like, oh, of course you do. And she goes, it just seems like the last month or so you're just stretching this thing from Tuesday night to Monday, Tuesday. You've done some Thursday things, and I'm like, well, it's not like I got anything else to do, So, but yeah. So
I'm not gonna comment. You gave me permission. Had I known, I wouldn't have taken 7:30 slot. You could have had dinner with your wife. Now this is my fault.
No,
man.
God, no. I already had 2 things booked. I said I got a couple of things booked. So. Yeah, I said, it's easier for me because now it doesn't take me till 10 o'clock to finish on Tuesday. I can, wrap up between like 8 and 9 o'clock on Tuesday. So it works on my benefit. So it's all good.
And if your wife is like my wife, the next 10 weeks are like, it's just that now she's literally in countdown mode till she gets her husband back.
Yes. Yeah. She definitely looks forward to the off season. I do some pre-recorded best of things and all that. So yeah, no, the my last show, live actual show, is typically the first week of December, and then it's December through into January is definitely some best of stuff. And yeah,
I wonder if the other people will make the best of variety.
You know what? It's a good possibility, especially I'm thinking on the 200th show, might have to cut that into that just for slaps and tickles, as I like to call it. So.
Generally speaking, I don't think, and you asked this one time if we should have a competition to see which of us is right, but here's the thing.
Yes.
We team up together. So there's really, if we get it wrong, we get it wrong together. If we get it right, we get it right together. So that would never happen with Aaron and I.
No.
And I think honestly, we've been really good this season. I can't think of really a major mess up. As far as the forecast goes.
Everything's been pretty, at least from what I can recall, if there was a chance, you guys had picked up on that chance. And yeah, I don't think there's been too many times to where it was like, yeah, no, we should be good. And, we got rained out.
There was one. I think there was one. We saw it a chance, but we were a little more optimistic. And so listen, at the end of the day, and maybe this is our bias, which happens because we're fans.
Right.
We want to see racing.
Absolutely.
I literally get nothing but heartache, okay, for doing this anymore. And there's nothing. I get nothing for doing the NASCAR weather. I could stop at any time. Just keep that in mind. So I may be 1, 2, 10, 15 screen grabs away from quitting. I don't know.
you at Brian with the wrong weather app, and he's just gonna be like, "That's it. I'm out. See ya."
I'm walking away. I'm just dropping. It was that weather app. There you go. That screen grab. You're all on notice. You're all on notice now.
Oh, we need to do a T-shirt that just says "Don't at me. You're all on notice" or something like that. That would be great.
I know. I think it should be. You're one weather app away.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Okay, now I will be honest. I was on vacation not last week, but the week before, and so I will say confession time. This is the first time in my career I took a vacation and I didn't look at any weather. So at least there are some weather apps that I actually kind of think are good for like the right now forecast, the short term.
Yeah.
And mostly I went to my employer and I looked at that forecast usually. So that was like the only weather. And of course it was the lead up between Marco and Laura. And it wasn't until like Wednesday where somebody was like, yeah, what were those 2 hurricanes in the Gulf? And I'm like, what?
That's fantastic.
I was like, there's what? There's what going on?
That's
and then
great.
I felt guilty. It's like my parents started asking me and I'm thinking, let me just tell you, I've been on vacation. I'm apologizing for not paying attention to the weather.
Right? Oh, that's funny. That's funny. All right. Well, speaking of weather, we're going to Darlington where fans are going to be able to attend the races this weekend. We've got the Saturday Xfinity race late in the afternoon and a doubleheader on Sunday with the truck and cup, which I'm going to be honest, I'm very excited. Everybody knows I love trucks. It's the first time in a very long time that trucks have run at Darlington, so I'm looking forward to that one. How are things looking for this weekend, sir?
Well, it's NASCAR at Darlington. It's South Carolina. They can have rain chances. I'm not going to go washout. But, we're going to have the day is going to be hot and humid, chance of especially afternoon showers and thunderstorms, both Saturday and Sunday, and Saturday night, Sunday night. Sunday night's actually a little bit better. So improvement there. But as far as Saturday night goes, there's still a chance of showers and thunderstorms. And I'd say the odds of racing are 80-ish%. If you gun to my head, you had me to give that. Now, obviously, we're early in the week.
Yes.
Please, people know this is going to change. And I'll tell you right now, I would love to. Aaron and I have said this so many times in private and online. Sometimes in the early week, if there's even the slightest chance, we'll tip the scale towards rain as a preparation, because it's a lot easier to take rain out of the forecast than have to put it back in.
Absolutely. Totally get
and
that.
most people are forgiving, and we get less weather apps that way. So it's
excellent. Yes.
There was a guy who sent me a retweet of somebody else's weather app about the rain at Daytona and saying we needed to do this, and somebody sent it to like Aaron or just me with the fingers pointing down to it, and I just said, thank you for sending me your weather app. And I just left it at that. I mean, I didn't retweet it. I'm not mean like that anymore, but I'm like, okay, if you do send me a screen grab, I'd at least prefer you ask a question like, is this true? What do you think?
Why is this not as accurate as what you're saying? Like, at least ask an intelligent question behind it.
Or give me context, because some people will just say, here's a weather app. It's like, are you telling me? Are you telling me I'm wrong? I mean,
yeah.
Sorry, you get me onto these weather apps, and
I know.
I mean, Aaron and I do behind the scenes. Aaron and I do joke. It's like, oh, there's a weather app. Why didn't we use that?
Right.
Gee, that would have just saved us so much time.
All right. Well, let's wrap up with 2 quick things here. Number one, the misery now comes to an end for you of your 2020 rookie year lap traffic fantasy. You did not make the playoffs, so you are done. You are
playoffs.
Playoffs, yes. But to be fair, though, the head-to-head between you and Aaron was 9-7-2, so the line wasn't bad with all said and done.
Well, he had a couple. It's like it was my rookie stripes. Okay.
Yes, and it's funny. You went out on a high. You actually had week high for the league this past week, so not bad.
Trust me. I was very excited to see Briscoe. Or not Briscoe. Sorry, that wasn't but I can't think of names. Yeah, no. Well, and also in this cup.
Oh,
It wasn't Haley. Byron.
Yes,
William.
Byron.
Well, yeah, Byron.
Byron.
Sir William Byron. That's how I have to remember his name. I put
Yes.
Sir in front of it.
Yeah, no. So, you've got plenty of time to do some research and get ready for next.
Okay, now in my defense, I do research.
Yeah.
But all the research says that the drivers that are going to win, I can't pick. That's my research.
Yeah, see that therein lies the problem, right? Oh man! All right, and
maybe I need to pick the bad drivers up front and then save the C. Maybe that's my strategy that I'm not doing.
There you go. Kentucky Derby, man. That's also this weekend in your neck of the woods.
It is indeed, yes. We were Googling. I mean,
we were Googling. We're not even going to lie. We're totally Googled before this started.
Because we could. I mean, I will be the first one to tell you that I enjoy the Triple Crown. I'm not watching horse racing all that much outside of that, but I do enjoy the Triple Crown, and I get excited,
something different.
And so, yeah, it is. I mean, I think now this could be weird because I think that the Kentucky Derby is all about that pomp and circumstance leading up to it.
Yes. A 42-hour pre-race ceremony, man. Come on.
I mean, yeah, when is it? Hey, NASCAR and Fox, you can do it for a horse race that lasts 2 minutes. What about an hour, 2.5 hour race? Why don't you give us like, a 72-hour lead up? I mean, come on. Trust me, you find things to do during those rain delays.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
You got programming.
Like run last year's race and people lose their mind on Twitter. Like, so-and-so's winning.
I love that. That is the best.
But Tis the Law is the odds-on favorite, followed by Art Collector, and who I will pick if I can make my way down to MGM before we head out of town. Honor AP 7-1.
Honor AP, yeah, that's
I'm all
funny.
about that.
I didn't really do very well in my I did okay in my AP classes, but Purdue wouldn't take the threes I got. So there you go. And calc and physics. That's all right. My son got some AP calc or AP credits, so I'm happy about that. So
excellent.
And the weather for Louisville, since this is my backyard, for the Kentucky Derby actually looks pretty good. In fact, they could be either really hot or really cold or really, wet. And it has been a wet one over the last several years. Very, very muddy tracks. This year, you're looking at sunny skies and a high temperature, maybe not even hitting 80 degrees.
Gotcha. All right. Well, good deal.
So there you go. For those of you who wanted to know the forecast there.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll wrap it with that. And everybody, make sure you follow Brian on Twitter at NASCAR_WXMAN.
And if you do follow me on Facebook, I want to apologize. I really only like when it comes to posting because I can do it so fast as Twitter.
Oh yeah, I know.
And
that's a guilty pleasure. That's where you go first and foremost is Twitter. I'm with you.
You go to Facebook to make yourself feel miserable. So
yes,
for that, I'm sorry.
Yes. All right. So we will catch you back in 2 weeks on episode 200. Man, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Now I'm feeling honored because that's just in my rotation. So that's actually my week.
Yeah,
so really, I'm not actually. So we need to make sure we say this right. It's not I'm joining Aaron.
No, it's Aaron.
Aaron is joining me. Yes. Let's make sure that's my week.
Yes.
Now, I guess the other question is, would you have us both on for the final race?
Oh, of course. Yes.
It is a big race.
Yes. So
and maybe Aaron and I need to look back on our moments of 2020 if you're going to have us on for one of those best of or look backs or whatever.
See,
I'm doing your job. I'm doing your job for you. Something's wrong with that.
Hey, you know what? It's about time somebody did it.
But you know what? At least you can think about it this way. I am a professional broadcaster.
Yes. Hell, take over.
Your wife would like that. Mine wouldn't.
Yes, I know.
Today's episode is brought to you by Treat Your Wife Well. If you don't, you'll have a lot of time to do podcasts.
You know what I should do? I should try to reach out to like one of those 800flower.com things and see if I can't get like a sponsorship around the 500. Like, hey, send your wife flowers and use code LAPTRAFFIC for 20% off.
You so need to do that.
That would be fantastic. You know what? I've got an intern now, so I'm going to go put that task to my intern. So
You've got an intern? I mean, you're probably not.
I have an intern.
How are you paying this poor person? Did you lie?
No, it is an understood. It is just a free internship, and
I feel like they should be paying you.
No, I definitely need to be paying Dan for sure. He's awesome.
Well,
he's a young grad. He's got a marketing degree. He loves NASCAR. He's taken over the Instagram account, and he's going to be trying to build that up a little bit and, build up his resume a little bit. I mean, because I can actually provide a letter. I said, listen, I can't do much, but I can provide a letter.
Well, God bless you, Dan. And you know what? The way you're going, you could own this podcast. So I'm rooting for you. All right.
I love it. Oh man, this was a fun one, sir. All right, man. We'll catch you in a couple weeks.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll see you. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, great to catch up with Brian Newdorf. Looking forward to talking to him in a couple weeks on the big episode 200. But right now, you guys know what time it is. It is time for this week's Lucky Dog and Lap Down Picks of the weekend. You guys know the drill by now. Just send your Lucky Dog and Lap Down Picks after race weekend, or you can call the Wave Around hotline, 248-965-9538, and leave your picks there. All right, I'm going to get right into mine. My lucky dog, how can it not be William Byron? It's my lucky dog of the race weekend. My lap down, I think, has to go to Johnny Sauter. Truck veteran, looking like he is not going to make the playoffs, which is just crazy. All right, let's get to your tweeted responses. Scott at 1985, Wagner's lucky dog. William Byron, first win, lap down. The 48, so damn close to the playoffs. Definitely the type of race to end the regular season. Exciting watching those points change so frequently on the screen. CJ at CJ LaPearl's lucky dog. Matty D squeaking his way into the playoffs. Lap down the 48 team. The disqualification at Charlotte and COVID positive tests were the difference of being outside the top 16. Jess at Iowa NASCAR fans, a lucky dog. Byron for the walk-off. Collick for dominating. And Chastain for doing what he is paid to do, even if it didn't work out. Good call there, sir. I like that. Lap down Todd Gilliland. What an ass-kicking he was putting on just to get walled with 30 to go. He's going to get a win soon. I agree. Rowdy at the Rowdy Dragons, lucky dog, the 2014 of William Byron, winning, taking out their lap down teammate of Jimmy Johnson to take him out of the playoffs for his first time ever. Eddie at Eddie _ EG3's lucky dog, whoever decided to make the change to put Daytona as the last regular season race, knocked it out of the park. Lap down big names that didn't make the playoffs, Jones, Johnson, and Riddick. I tell you, I love that you guys are all on board. There's a lot of love for the Daytona race there. A lot of love. Eric Sauter, lucky dog. William Byron finally getting his first win and great racing at Daytona. Lap down, Jimmy Johnson missing the playoffs, and yet again, horrible fantasy picks at Daytona. Yeah, I feel you there. Colin at Colin _ cars. A lucky dog has to be super speedway cutoff race. Pretty sure my fingers are little stumps from biting my nails all night. Lap down. Jimmy not making the playoffs. I think we all wanted him to chase 8. Yes, we did. Brandon at Brandon K. Carl's lucky dog. All right. Rant time. Lucky dog is nobody. All suck this weekend. Lap down goes to the modern style of plate racing. Seriously, what about this style makes every driver go full you-know-what? All right, there's some plate racing picks that we're used to hearing. All right, there we go. Jeff at JBev1789. Lucky dog, the fans. Great idea to have Daytona end the regular season, and it didn't disappoint. And also that we've got 10 more races to enjoy 7 time. A lap down, don't have one. Great racing from Daytona. We've all been lucky to see that. All right. Those are your tweeted picks. Let's get to your calls on the Wave Around hotline.
Hi, Brandon. It's Matt at Camper News Net. Absolutely. At the end of the regular season for the Cup Series, an incredible race. A lot of, especially at the end, expecting the big ones and all that stuff. And, it came to fruition. And especially, it is what we call it a wild card race where we never know who is going to win at Daytona. And absolutely, William Byron, Hendrick Motorsports, first time Cup Series winner in the last race of the regular season for the NASCAR Cup Series and making the playoffs, most importantly. absolutely incredible. And I absolutely congratulate William, and it was absolutely, I thought, an incredible race. You know, a lot of, you know, great action, especially, you know, with the playoffs on the line. And anyway, my lucky dog for this week is absolutely going to go to William Byron. He was there all day, and he came up at the end to win it. It was absolutely, I thought, a incredible race for him, and I'm looking forward to seeing if he can do more in the playoffs. And my lap down is to Jimmy Johnson. He was up there all day. He was in, and then he was out at some points, and then crashed, and that cost him the playoff chances. So really tough to see Jimmy Johnson go out in his last season in the NASCAR Cup Series. So anyway, enjoy your week as always, Brandon. Lap Traffic Nation. I'll talk to you next weekend after the first race of the NASCAR playoffs at Darlington. So thank you so much, Brandon. Take care.
Oh, hey, Matt, way to set that up there. I like that little build you did there. That's fantastic. You know, it's funny, you gave a lucky dog to an HMS, lap down to an HMS, and like you said, Johnson, he was up there all day, and he had it, and then he didn't. And that's plate racing, that's Daytona, that's Talladega, that's all of the above. Yes, sir. All right, let's get to the next call on the Wave Around Hotline.
Hey, Brandon, it's Kathleen at KHI Fan. I know, long time no here. I can't believe the regular season is over. I'm amazed that we got all caught up with really no issues other than the usual bob and weave with Mother Nature. And we got to try out some new things, and it's going to be interesting to see what sticks when we get back to normal. Big kudos to NASCAR on the great job that they did. I know they had a lot of obstacles working with various, you know, local states and stuff to get that put on, so they deserve a big round of applause. I was uncertain if Daytona was going to be a good regular season ending race, but I think if you're counting on winning the last race or gaining enough points to get in the playoffs, then that's on you. You should have been worried about that, or, you know, made that stuff happen long before the last race. My lucky dog is going to go to Matt DiBenedetto. Every move he's made from team to team, he's run better and he's made progress. And hopefully now that he's in the playoffs, he can make it past the first round. I think that'll be difficult, but, you know, that would be a huge step forward for him. My lap down has to go to Tyler Reddick. He saw an opportunity and he took it, which you really can't blame him for that, but boy, it just went terribly wrong. That was just awful at the end like that. The only thing is that at least he owned it. He knew, you know, that it was on him. I want to give a big congrats to all the folks continuing on in fantasy. Good job for everybody. I will be back next year and make another run for it. That's all I got for now. I will talk to you later. Bye.
Oh, Kathleen, you took the words right out of my mouth. It has been a minute, but you've been busy going to races, so totally understandable there. And you took the words right out of my mouth that you all are going to hear a little bit when I recorded the fantasy segment last night with Joe. I said the same thing. It's like, you know what, I was against Daytona, but now it's like, you know what? If you don't want that to have to be where you're going to make it, then you should have done something else different earlier in the year. It's a great perspective, I think. So excellent, as always, Kathleen. All right, let's get to the last call. You know who it is. It's the voice of the Wave Around Hotline.
What's going on, Lap Traffic Nation? Voice of the Wave Around Hotline at Racing Cans, the 20%, currently sitting in race traffic. Thankfully, with COVID, there is much less race traffic than usual. I have to start off by saying I am extremely appreciative The fact that Daytona and, the state government here in Florida was able to find a way to get fans into Daytona, not only today, but obviously 2 weeks ago, for the road course. I'll be honest, I took a second as I was leaving, to really take everything in. I thought it was, I'm just, you miss going to the racetrack, and when you finally go again, it's like, whoa, I got goosebumps the first time I heard the cars, as I was running to my seat. I got goosebumps the first time I heard the cars go by. I wasn't even watching the cars. It was like I was at a race for the first time again, man. It was so cool. I've been up since 4:30 in the morning because I had to go to work, and then I left straight from work to come to the race, so there should be no excuses on why people can't go to races. As for the race itself, I don't love speedway racing. I think anyone who's listened to the show long enough and has heard me bitch and moan about it knows. So I won't really focus on that, but that was a special win for me. Still am a huge Jeff Gordon fan, and, Williams now only the second driver ever to win the 24 car. So that's damn cool. And then the guy who finished second, Chase, man, everyone knows I'm a Chase fan. I'm a Hendrick guy in general. So obviously I'm bummed for Jimmy Johnson. Chase obviously took over the 24, so there's a little bit of crossover there, 1-2. To see HMS run 1-2 like that's my favorite win of any race I've been to since, I've yet to see Chase win. I kind of was there to see Jeff not win. I was at the racetrack in Pocono in 07, but wasn't there. That's cool. So, Lucky Dog, HMS, 1-2, Willie B, Chase Elliott, lap down, man. There is no lap down. Anytime you get to go to the racetrack, it's special, especially with what's going on in the world. So I'm just glad Joseph, Dennis, or Bradley did not win, because then my mood would be a little bit different if I sit in traffic. So talk to you later, bud, and look forward to listening to the show this week.
Oh, man. Joseph, Dennis, or Bradley. Oh, man, that was good. See, that caught me off guard. That's fantastic. I am so happy you got to go to a race, man. That's awesome. That is definitely not the norm for us race fans this year to be able to say that we went to a race this year. So that's awesome, man. Glad you had such a great time. And, man, I cannot wait for a couple weeks, episode 200, for your call that week for sure. All right. That is going to do it for this week's Lucky Dog and Lap Down Picks. All right, it is time to close this thing out with a little lap traffic fantasy. Just a reminder, get your picks in by midnight on Friday. Keep the Twitter interaction up and all that good stuff. It is officially playoff time in the Lap Traffic Fantasy League. Drivers have been reset. We started with over 60 players and down to the top 16. Real quick, just want to reset the playoff format here. So it's the top 16 after every 3 cup races, because there is still a double in there for the Xfinity series. So after every 3 cup races, we're going to drop the bottom 4. Just like segments 1 and 2, you only get to pick a driver once per segment. Your bonus points are what they are. It's, for example, Joe Houston's got 16, and that's it. It'll just be the points added on top of that he accumulates, as with everybody else. And for the Final Four, if you make it to the Final Four, the prestigious Final Four of the Lap Traffic Fantasy League, all 4 scores are going to be reset to 0 so that it's an equal chance. So pick wisely, my friends. Pick wisely. Congratulations to our Segment 2 winners. I'm going to hit the top 10 for you guys here. Segment 2 winner is Brad Carnes. Nice job there, sir. Second place, my uncle Matt Crowd. In third, Joel Nolf. Robert Riggs in fourth. Brian Hall in fifth. Chad Robb in sixth. Joe Houston seventh. Eric Rolls eighth. Kim James 9. And Jess Rose wraps out the top 10. Congratulations there, guys. Prizes, I'll get those out at the end of the year with everybody. Over to the cumulative standings in the playoff reset grid. It is Joe Houston in first with 16 bonus points. Jess Rose in second with 10. Chad Robb in third with 8. Kent Dolphin in fourth with 7. Matt Crowd in fifth with 6. You see where we're going here. Brian Hall is in 6th. David James in 7th. Matt Camper 8th. Joel Nolf 9. Richard Cravens 10th. Aaron Studwell 11th. Andrew Cancian in 12th. Crystal Smoke 13th. Eric Rolls 14th. Greg White at 15th. And Robert Riggs in 16th. That is your lap traffic playoff grid for 2020. Good luck, everybody. You notice a name is missing from that list, and that would be me. Yes, started off segment 2 so strong, made my way in to the top 16. I think I even cracked the top 10 at one point, but it's just been an abysmal couple of weeks, to say the least. So, congratulations to the segment 2 winners. Congratulations to the players that made the playoffs. Cannot wait to crown a lap traffic champion. But before we can crown a champion, we got to get to this week's picks at Darlington. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line this week. I'm very excited. He was on, what was it, I think maybe just a week or two ago, but he is back. He didn't necessarily have week high this past week. That actually went to Brian Newdorf, as I mentioned a little bit ago during the weather segment, but he is the reset leader of the Lap Traffic Fantasy League. Welcome back, Mr. Joe Houston. Sir, good evening. How are you?
Thank you. Yeah, doing great. How about you?
I am awesome, man. I'm very excited. The playoffs are here. I didn't make them, so I now have no skin in the game, so it doesn't matter. I can just have some fun with this. But there is some, it's going to be close. It is going to be a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to see who takes home some lap traffic hardware. I know you're excited about that. I know Jess Rose, Chad Robb, Kent, my uncle who's in 5th, Aaron Studwell, Andrew King. I mean, everybody that's in there I know is going to be having some fun with this, man. So I'm looking forward to the next 10 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. There's some stiff competition. It's gonna be interesting. I gotta say, I really thought on Sunday I thought you might make it in with Gilliland leading the whole race until he got taken out. I'm sure you must have been screaming at the TV at that point.
Well, I was, and it's also because I may have had a bet down on Todd Gilliland that was 2,500 to 1, and I picked him to win. So I'm like, I was going nuts. Like the MGM Detroit Casino didn't. Well, apparently they did know what they were doing because, I'm like, man,
right?
Hell yeah, I'll throw 25. I mean, he's got 2 top 5s the last 2 go arounds there. I'm like, you know what? I think Todd Gilliland could win this thing, and he came out looking like he was going to win this thing.
Oh my gosh,
so, yeah.
I felt for him so bad. He really should have won that thing. That was pretty rough.
I tell you, if all of my picks had potential, because I had Gilliland, I had Ross Chastain, and I went with Tyler Riddick. Like, if all 3 of those had come in like they looked like they might have late in the race, I might have snuck in there. But, hey, it is what it is. I don't do it for me. I do it for you guys, and I'm excited to see what happens here.
Absolutely. Me too.
I'm also excited to see who in 2 weeks is able to be on and be the guest picker for episode 200. I mean, I think that is, if I'm going to, just, blow and toot my own horn here, like that's a monumental show that someone's going to be able to be a part of. So I think that's what people should be playing for.
Absolutely. No, that's a great point. Hopefully it'll be me, but we'll see.
Yes, yeah. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago that you were on?
It was last week.
It was last week.
Yep.
So back to back. That's awesome. Absolutely love that. Yes, I think that is definitely the first time this year for sure. Listen, all right. So what did you think of Daytona? Let's start there.
I thought Daytona was great. I mean, just first starting with Xfinity, I feel like Colleague obviously just dominated, which was a little bit expected, but what wasn't expected was just the early wrecks kind of taking out almost all the field, which really made it that much easier for them.
Sure.
But on the Cup side, man, I feel like, maybe at first when they announced they're going to move the Daytona race to the last one before the playoffs, I was maybe a little skeptical, but I got to say that was just about the perfect setup with the stages, everyone going for the stage points. The stage lengths were just about right, where you had some fuel strategy kind of in the middle play out there. I mean, and then really there wasn't a big wreck until almost the end, which is kind of rare for a Daytona race. So I mean, I thought it was incredible.
I'm with you. And I talked about this last week on the show. I talked about it with PETM on where I was with you. I was like, man, I don't know that I like a plate race ending the regular season. You got guys going for championships and things of that nature. But the more and more I step back and thought about it, I'm like, you know what? anybody that does maybe steal one and race their way in, whoever they end up knocking out probably isn't going to win the championship anyways. And the guy that wins their way in probably isn't going to win the championship. So it's just great storylines. So why not embrace that fact? And so from that regard, I kind of built myself up to being a little bit more excited about Daytona ending the regular season. And, if we all agree that we don't like plate racing from the wrecked race cars and stuff like that we get, but on the same token, if we can all agree that, hey, that's if we're going to have that, we might as well have that there. I have no shame in admitting that my mindset's been changed a little bit for that specific race.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there was usually those races you get a good chunk, 20, 30, 40 laps sometimes, where they just kind of ride and just waiting
Single file,
for laps to go by.
Yep.
And really, there was almost none of that. I mean, maybe a little bit when you had the fuel strategy going on, but then there was that aspect to keep you entertained anyways. So yeah, man, I hope they keep it around moving forward.
Yeah. And could you imagine if we got some tandem racing for that race?
Yeah, I mean, the tandem racing is definitely interesting. I don't know. I mean, tandem racing was great for a few years, and it'd be interesting to come back. I mean, it's kind of there is some tandem aspects to it even now, really, just with they just don't kind of hook up for multiple laps at a time. yeah, but
I'm with you.
But yeah, it was an awesome race.
All right. Well, Lap Traffic fantasy players, before we get to fantasy, Joe actually wanted to talk a little football, which, I mean, we all know that I'm game for talking some football. So, Joe, what do you got for us?
Yeah, it'll be a brief football segment here, but yeah,
you don't know how brief it might be. We might go on a turn, man. We might.
Okay. I'm game for it. I'm game if you got time.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if this is going to be another 2-hour episode, but maybe we'll make it one. So I know the Big Ten not scheduled to start up the season, and I feel like that's got to be painful for all the Midwesterners listening. I know there's a lot of them with your Michigan base. So yes. I wanted to give a little shout out to my alma mater, Charlotte, which give you guys somebody to cheer for if these other schools do go on and play and the Big Ten waits till spring or whatever it is. I'll give you a few reasons. All right. Yes, we're more tied to NASCAR than really any other university. I think something like 30-40% of NASCAR engineers go through the motorsports mechanical engineering program that I actually went through as well. I kind of chose a different path afterward, but definitely have some buddies and classmates that went through that and are working for shout out to Keith at GMS and Chris at Joe Gibbs for the 19 car and Xfinity, and Jason at Stuart Haas. And for any of the youngsters out there, if there's any that are still considering schools and stuff like that, if you want to be a part of NASCAR, and you're not you don't have the financial ability to try and drive, then UNC Charlotte, give it some consideration for sure.
Awesome. I love that.
And so I'll give you a couple other reasons as well. So one, this might strike you, especially Brandon, is that we're playing App State this year, which is kind of a new rival for us.
Listen,
they're definitely they've got a little bit. I know there's some history there.
1997 hashtag never forget.
Exactly. And so they're definitely more established than us. We played them twice, maybe 2 years ago and 3 years ago, and they definitely beat us pretty bad the first time. The second one we made it real close, and we got a new coach last year, Will Healy. If you haven't seen the videos of Club Lit, where he's in the locker room after the wins with his shirt off celebrating, I recommend you check those out. But but yeah, I figured you guys might need a team to cheer for, and so just wanted to throw that out there.
Absolutely, and it was 2007, not 1990s. I knew there was a 7. I wanted to make it more further back in history than what it actually was.
Yeah, anything to forget that.
Oh man, between that and the botched punt against Michigan State, those might be 2 of the worst moments in Michigan football for me anyways. But yeah, wow, yeah, well, hell, I'm now a UNC fan there for sure. That's crazy. I love that.
I got one more football related question for you. So I know since you got Michigan, you got the Lions up there, you broke down and cheered for the Patriots all these years because of Tom Brady nonetheless. And so what's your plan now? What are your thoughts on a controversial subject, at least here in the Carolinas, Cam Newton?
I am all about Cam Newton and the New England Patriots, and I'll tell you this. So a lot of my local my friends and all that have asked me that and given me some flack and all that, and I am. Initially, it was a Tom Brady thing, right? Like early, I was like, oh, Tom Brady, Michigan's playing for the Patriots. I'm going to be a Patriots fan for Tom Brady. But, I mean, that's 2001, 2002. That long, I am now a New England Patriots fan. And I bought New England Patriots gear for the 2020 season. I did not buy a Tampa Bay's Tom Brady anything. Not to say that I'm not going to root for him, but the allegiance and the fan, like, I lose my mind when the Patriots win a Super Bowl. Tom Brady wins his first game with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I can't say I'm going to have that same passion. Now, Buccaneers are coming to Ford Field in December to play the Lions. Now, I hope like hell that we're able to have fans, because I definitely want to go and see Tom Brady play one more time. But I will probably have Lions gear on for that, or a Patriots, just to show support to the Patriots for that. I do not have any Tampa Bay gear. So, no, that is an awesome and 100% fair question, and I love that so much.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're open to accepting Cam Newton, and because as a lifelong Panthers fan, it's there's a lot of us that we're not fans of Cam, and maybe he did some things to justify some of that, but
sure.
I always loved him. I thought he was one of the best players we had, and man, like, there's something about when he's doing well and he gets up, and if he's on your team and he's doing his little dances and stuff, there is absolutely nothing.
I'm with you.
Like that.
Let me, Joe. I'm going to ask you a question. Joe, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 27.
27. All right. So you're about 10 and a half years younger than I am. Cam Newton, I tell you one reason why I can kind of get behind Cam Newton a little bit. And so this may be so off the wall here, but I'll be 38 in December. And so this person's name is even a little old for my age group, but I am a diehard Prince fan. And Cam Newton is eclectic, and that's how I describe Cam Newton. And those two just kind of remind me a little bit about each other. So
I can see that. I can
get behind Cam Newton's eclecticness, if you will.
He's unique.
Yes. Yeah. So I can get behind that a little bit. Like you said, are there some things like, dude, probably didn't need to say that, or probably didn't need to do that. Sure. But that's with any professional athlete anywhere, right?
Yep.
So, those sort of things I try to separate personal feeling to and all that kind of stuff. So, no, I can get behind that. And so, no, I think Cam Newton, Bill Belichick, let's do it. I'm ready.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do really, really well together. I was sad to see him go, and I definitely wish him the best. Even though, obviously, the Panthers have lost to the Patriots in some big games, but
yep.
But it's I'll still be cheering for the Panthers, no doubt. But I'm definitely I'm pulling for Cam to kind of get back to getting some respect.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, while we're on the football talk, let's throw one more 5-minute curve in here.
All right.
Let's talk fantasy football. Like, are you doing it? Are you like, I used to be in 3 to 4 fantasy fantasy leagues. And it's down to I got 2 leagues that have just flat out said, nope, we'll come back next year. The one league that's like the keeper and trades league, that is, hey, we're going to, wherever you were at from that regard, we're putting that on hold, and we're going to switch and just do daily or weekly fantasy football. And then we'll go back to Yahoo next year if things are back to normal. And then I got one league that's like, yep, we're going to do it. You know, the buy-in's the same. And if we don't finish, everybody gets your monies back. And if you do, then we're good. So a lot of different strategies. I'm sure the subscription and signups to, you know, Yahoo, CBS Sports, ESPN, Fantasy Football, I'm sure the league numbers are down. Where are you at, man?
Yeah, so we've got a family league that I didn't start, but I started participating in when I was like 8 years old, and it's been annual ever since then. In the last few years, I've been the commissioner, and we're going to try and make that happen. Maybe add a IR spot or two just in case there's some issues there. We're going to go for that one, but definitely another league that I am in. We're going to bypass it, and those of us that still want to play, we're going to do a weekly league where, you know, you can kind of just pick new players each week to just in case there's issues there, which, you know, we'll see, I guess, how many issues there are in reality, but
absolutely. This is not the year if you have your traditional league. This is not the year to stack the deck with one team like I used to do with the New England Patriots. You do not want to stack, because if
that's a great point.
If one person gets it, your bench is going to be on IR real quick.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yes.
Maybe it'll just make for some more entertaining. You know, maybe somebody will be dominating your league, and then half their players go on IR.
Yes.
Who knows?
Yes. All right, man. 16 minutes in, what do you say we make some NASCAR picks?
Yeah, so I'm not quite ready to make my official picks. I'll give you some names I'm looking at for sure. But before we even do that, I want to ask you a couple questions about the playoff format. This is my first year doing the league, so just so I'm clear, so we're doing an elimination after the 3 races, correct?
Yes, sir. Bottom 4.
So, gotcha. Bottom 4, but no pick reset. So if you pick Harvick here, you don't get to pick him round 2.
Correct. Yes.
That makes it interesting. That makes it really interesting.
Yes.
So question 2, do the playoff points based on the regular season, are they carrying through like in the Cup Series, or is that a one-time only deal?
So for example, Joe, you've got and there's a typo on the website just because I fat-fingered on the Excel sheet. On the website it shows 16, but you actually have 15 points. So you're starting with 15 points, and that's just going to carry through. Not each round you're not going to get 15 added, but like right now you've got 15, so that's just going to add to your total going forward.
Do the points reset after each round?
No. So
okay, gotcha.
4 are going to drop off.
So if you build a little bit of a lead, then you're going to hang on to that.
Yes.
Round to round. Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. I think that that pretty much answers my questions.
And then just to clarify, the final 4. Same thing, you know, your drivers are still going to be wherever you're at from who you can pick from your drivers. But the final 4, you guys are going to start Phoenix with 0. So it will literally be
sense.
Whoever comes out with the highest points out of Phoenix is going to be the Lap Traffic Fantasy champion.
Okay. That I'm with you. That'll work.
Excellent. All right. You ready to have some fun with this?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Lap Traffic Fantasy players. We are headed back to Darlington for the Southern 500. We saw Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin pick up the wins there back in May when we went back to racing. Safe to say those could be some safe picks this weekend, but Do you want to use those picks this weekend with them? That is the question. Or do you want to save them? If you are on the bubble one round, perhaps that might be the smart play. I wouldn't know. I didn't make the playoffs, so I'm just setting some teasers. If you're looking for some trends, though, you could say Toyota has the upper hand, having won 6 of the last 9 races at Darlington. The only Fords to win are Keselowski and Harvick. And here's a fun fact. Keselowski won in 18, Harvick won in 20. You've got to go back to Greg Biffle in 2006 for the last Ford win. And who, by the way, is running the trucks at Darlington this weekend? The Biff. Does Harvick or Hamlin pick up another win? Does someone play spoiler to the playoff guys? Who gets the Darlington stripe? We'll find out this weekend. But first, it's time for our picks. Joe, I will start with you. Who are you thinking about in the Truck Series?
Yeah, so it's interesting you bring up the Biff. He's definitely on my radar. I'm a little concerned with him starting towards the back, which I just assume based on the lineups not being out. Sure. Shout out to Chad Robb, by the way, for throwing up the Cup Series lineup on Monday before NASCAR goes ahead and makes that public.
Yes.
But yeah, so Biffle, he's definitely on my radar. I'd say the other 2 guys I'm looking at are Austin Hill and really Zane Smith. Man, he's on those kind of intermediate tracks. He's been on fire of late. So
and momentum's big.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, well, I tell you what, because I've got nothing to gain or lose, but I tell you what, I will definitely do a DraftKings lineup this weekend. At least one of them will have Greg Biffle in there. I love the Biff. I thought he was a great guy. I met him a few times in the garage, just so personable. And the last time he won a race, I was in Michigan with PETM and Yunker Motorsports around a campsite there, so I am so going with the Biff. Over to the Xfinity Series, sir. Who are you looking at there, maybe?
Definitely leaning towards Briscoe. Just with the success he had back in like May or whenever that was. It feels like a decade ago, but sure. Yeah, leaning that way. You got Austin Cindric as maybe the secondary pick there, but right now leaning towards Briscoe.
I love it. I am going to go, and this is a shout out to PETM Podcast, because the last time I was at Darlington was with them. Ross Chastain was leading. He got wrecked by Kevin Harvick. So I'm going to go with Ross Chastain to get some redemption at Darlington. So that's who I'm looking for this week there.
I can see it.
Over to the Cup Series, sir. Who are you thinking there?
Yeah, the Cup Series is definitely the hardest pick. As we just heard, I don't even know the rules. So, but I mean, you gotta look at Hamlin. He should be starting up front, and he won. He won one of the 2 earlier this year and was, I think, a top 5 in the other one. So, I mean, I think he's the top pick. The question is, do you go with him, or do you maybe pick Bowman or one of these other guys that that basically just to save Hamlin for later in the playoffs? Yeah. That's what my decision is going to be coming down to.
I believe you. I am going to go with Brad Keselowski. I think Brad comes on, at least the last couple of years, he comes on pretty strong early, but then ends up slipping, round 12, round 8. So I'm going to go with Brad Keselowski to maybe make a little early noise, maybe throw a loop to some people there. But I'm going to go with Keselowski this weekend at Darlington.
Yeah, I like that pick. Isn't it interesting how the rounds, or the first round is kind of all shorter tracks, and then the middle round is just kind of a hodgepodge of you got the road course, the plate race, like
yes,
yeah, it's an interesting.
Yeah, I made that analogy earlier in the show where I talked about obviously Bristol short course, short track, and all that. Darlington. It just depends on how strict you want to be towards that less than 1 mile defines a road course kind of thing.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I'm with you there. Like, this is a short track favor for the first round. And I wonder how that might play into someone like Matt DiBenedetto, who just stuck his way in. That's obviously his favorite track. Like,
Yeah.
You know, wouldn't that, I mean, I think that would be absolutely amazing. Matt DiBenedetto sneaks into the playoffs and goes out and wins at Bristol in the playoffs and at least gets to the next round at least. Like, again, I love stories. Like, that would be amazing.
Totally. Yeah, me too. Especially not, like, I think I mentioned this last show. I don't really have a favorite driver anymore now, you know, since Casey Kane, and that makes it really fun, like you said, to cheer for stories like that, the Benedetto or maybe, you know, maybe Cole Custer or some weird, you know,
Sure.
unexpected
A
winners.
wrench.
Really
A wrench.
is what
Give
I'm
us a
going
wrench.
for. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I love it. All right, Joe, man, thank you so much for calling in. This was a lot of fun. I had fun doing this one. This went way beyond just talking some picks, which I absolutely love. Lap Traffic Fantasy players, don't forget to send your picks in. Have some fun. Joe, good luck in the playoffs, and who knows, maybe we'll talk to you again before this thing's over.
Yeah, definitely. I certainly hope so, and just want to say thanks to Lap Traffic Nation. I don't know how many people are listening to any given show, and I'm sure only a fraction of that make it all the way to this point in the show. But thanks for everyone who's listening and participating in fantasy or social. Which, by the way, the interaction on social just stays so positive, which is one of the main reasons I really like the show and the community, and of course thanks to our fearless leader Brandon and congrats on 200, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Try to keep it as positive as possible. Good luck, man, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. You have a good night.
Thanks, man. You too. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, that is going to do it for episode 198 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. Make sure you check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com. Like on Facebook, The Lap Traffic Podcast. Follow on Twitter and Instagram at Lap Traffic PC. Subscribe, download on iTunes, Podbean, or your favorite hosting site. Big thanks to Tyler Riddick, Brian Newdorf, and Joe Houston for calling in tonight. Next week, Dan the Intern recaps his trip to Darlington along with Jeff Gluck makes his long-awaited return to the Lap Traffic Podcast. Don't get caught chasing the lucky dog. Tune in each and every week to the Lap Traffic Podcast. See ya!